Good morning everyone, welcome to a new Super 69 EV film. And today I'm going to give you a big update on the BMW i3S. And yes, I've washed it for this occasion. It was really dirty because this isn't a car to worship, it's a car to... This car works for a living. I drive it a lot. I have it now a little over a year and I've driven it 65,000 kilometers. That in itself is a pretty big number, but what makes it even more impressive is there wasn't any holiday driving in it. Normally we take the car to Italy or Spain or Luxembourg, for instance. This car only did some small weekend trips with us and some day trips, but all the holiday trips we've done with our first of all our Alpina, which I traded in for this. After that we had the Benz with the Caravan. Then we sold the Caravan and we sold the Benz. First we sold the Benz, then the Caravan, but no matter, doesn't matter. And then we bought a camper van. So now all our holiday tripping is done with the camper van. But the i3S still brings me from and to work. And it's a perfect car for it because it's cheap, it's perfect, it has been flawless. Besides the first problem I had in the first weekend I had the car, which in hindsight was just a big user error, because I drove the car flat out on the autobahn for a bit over an hour, and it made that the car was overheating. Some part of the car was so much overheating that it shut down the car completely. But since I haven't almost the same driving, and it never occurred again, and I haven't driven it for such long periods of time so quickly at those temperatures. It was always a bit colder when I did it again. So yeah, it's just something the car can do. Let's just be honest with it. And I must say, normally in the summer I drive on the silver 19-inch wheels. Those are by Brock. And they make a big difference in rolling resistance. And the car doesn't overheat as quickly as with the 20-inch wheels. The unsprung mass is a bit lower, and you can notice it while driving. So, as you can see, the car is still fully stock. I haven't done anything to it, and even though I have the lowering springs still in my garage, and I still have the Powerflex rubber that needs to go in, I didn't have time, and the car is so perfect. I'd never had a car before which I could drive 65,000 kilometers before it needed service, before it needed anything. It's just flawless. The only thing it needs is tires. It eats up tires as any EV will do if you drive it in a spiritly manner. And I drive this always flat out, like all the time. I'm always blasting. When I'm going into the office, I'll try to get there with 0 kilometers on the odometer. Then I charge it right back up. If I go home, I always try to get there empty. And in these temperatures, it's now around freezing. Yeah, that's a bit harder because I have to really be gentle on it just to get there. But when there's warm temperatures, I can hammer it all the way down, like 120, 130, no problem, and it will get there. It will do an honest 200 kilometers in better temperatures. Speaking of the cold, we had a bit of a Arctic freeze over the past couple of weeks, and one day I had to go to Maastricht for Interclassics. It was -8, and I had driven the car for over 120 kilometers, and it's still colgated. So that learned me an important lesson. I need to step on it when I'm going to charge before I get there. Because the battery was still around, I believe, 12 to 13 degrees. And it only took 21 kilowatts per hour. So that's it took the car like 15 to 20 minutes before it ramped up to 40. And so when I got home, that was 5 days later, it was a bit less cold, but I made sure the battery was around 17, 18 degrees. I have the small old Android telephone in it, so I can see via OBD2 what the temperature of the battery is. And I took it, I made sure it was a bit hotter, and then it just took 40 kilowatt plus. immediately. So that's just something to behold. Besides that, what I found curious, I hand washed the car yesterday. It was so dirty, I just had to wash it. And what I found interesting was that the paint on the car is pretty good. Of course, there are some scratches and there are some stone chips in the bonnet, because yeah, there's always going to be if you drive that much kilometers. It's now at 80,000 kilometers. But overall, it's pretty good. I even think if I would polish it, a lot would buff out. It's now on the winter tires. I really hate the black wheels. I hate them. If I could make them easily silver or something, I'm not sure if plastic dip would be a solution. And yeah, just spraying them silver would cost like 400 euros, and it doesn't annoy me that much, but I don't like the look of it on the black wheels. I like it on the silver wheels way better. It looks way fresher. Speaking of the looks, I still love the looks of this thing. The clear glass makes that you can really see that the back window is just that bit lower than the front window. I really love the shape that it has here. I really love when I walk towards it that it still looks like something that could be on a car show and that could be introduced tomorrow or over 5 years. It still has that prototype look to it, even after all these years. The interior is perfect. It holds up really well. It's really nice with the dark wood in it. The leather seats are good. They're not perfect. I'm not going to pretend that. I would have liked it better with the woolen interior, but looks-wise, this is perfect. I think the woolen seats would be a bit more comfortable in the summer, but these aren't too bad. What else? Yeah, the BMW adaptive lights are really good, even though they're like, yeah, old tech in the sense of matrix LED lighting. They only have, I believe, 4 mirrors per light, but they're really good. The camera system, yeah, for my driving, it isn't too bad, because in the morning I drive to the west, so I have the sun in my rearview mirror, and then it functions pretty well. And at night I drive to the east, which then again I have the sun in my rearview mirror, so it functions pretty good. But last time when I went to Maastricht, I drive to the south and I have the sun in the little camera at all times, and it doesn't function at all. So I understand that in my use case it is acceptable, but if you drive to the south on a regular basis, it actually isn't that acceptable, and it's a bit shit. Yeah, what else? I read some reports that there are Chinese companies that are producing upgraded batteries. The last thing I heard is a 50% larger batteries at a 60 kilo weight penalty. Sign me up, please. Make it charge a bit faster and give me like 100 kilometers more range, and I wouldn't ever need another EV. This thing is perfect. It's quick enough, it's comfortable enough, it rides well, it's quiet. The Harman Kardon audio is perfect. It has Apple CarPlay, it has the iDrive. I don't like touch buttons. It's just 100 kilometers more of range and a bit quicker charging is all I would ever need in a car. And there are plans with the car. I am planning on doing a marathon drive in this thing. I can't tell more about it right now because I'm just starting to connect the dots and looking into the possibilities if it's even remotely possible, because what I want to undertake with this car is really extreme. So I'm trying, and I'll keep you guys posted. I know this is a bit of a non-starter, a bit non-news, but it's going to be, if this can go through, it will be epic. It will be the best ever. Yeah, what else about the car? I don't know what much more to say. It's just, it really has been flawless. And if you're considering buying one, I paid a hefty sum for this car because I bought at the peak of the market. You can get these now with less kilometers than are on this one right now for like half for what I paid for. And I think it's tremendous value. And I think a lot of people that are starting to look into EVs really have to learn that they can make do with a smaller battery. Of course, if this was optional with a 50 kilowatt hour battery pack, I would have gone for that, but that's because that would suit the way I use the car. But if I'm, for instance, looking into my next EV, I don't think it's close. I don't think I could take. It could take a couple of years before I buy another one. But I think there are a lot of cars that the base battery pack would suit me just fine. If I look to Ioniq 6, the base battery would do me just fine. The BMW iX, a 40 would be enough. BMW i4, 35 would be plenty. BMW iX1, on the other hand, is a different story because I would like the X drive, and then you need to stick with the 30. Even though the 20 goes further, but I would like X drive. Yeah, it has been really good to me so far. It's now at 80,000 kilometers. Not much degradation to speak of. I can't even notice it. That it wouldn't go as far as I bought it. I bought it at 15,000 kilometers, and of course the boot could be a bit bigger. The inside could be a bit bigger. Everything could be just a tad bigger. But it's so light. It's so nimble. It's so much fun to drive. Yeah, to me, it's still a perfect car. I really enjoy it, and I could wholeheartedly advise anyone to get it. Except if you do like 600 kilometer days in the cold, then you will spend a lot of time charging, because 50 kilowatt peak, 45 mostly, and then in a long time it's around 40-45. It just isn't quick. It isn't, but it does it till 80, so it's not too bad, and it's pretty efficient. So yeah, I think that must wrap up this update on the BMW i3S. Picked out a nice spot, I think. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was informative to you. If you have any more questions, please let me know down in the comments below, and I will get to you. And as always, thank you for watching. It's of tremendous help. We're at 414 subscribers right now. I really want to break the 1,000 this year, and there are a lot of adventures planned, and I think if one of those adventures comes through, I think it will be something that could grow the channel tremendously. I'm not going to tease it anymore. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Let me know in the comments what more do you want to know about the car, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.